you got to look at each individual possession of why did we get stopped. And it's a combination of things. It's never any one thing. So there will be a lot to correct, and that's what tomorrow and early this week will be all about.
I feel like Kirk has become a master at that exact answer after every game, right? Just listen, there's just a lot of things to look at. It's never any one thing, just a lot of things to get better at, easily correctable. No, that was the Christian Ponder line.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Easily correctable. I'm probably going to stop giving my coach a heart attack.
You like that? You like that?
As the game ends here. Mackey and Judd, daily Minnesota sports entertainment. And Randy in Cottage Grove is the most passionate Vikings fan we know. He has correctly given us 2 Vikings first-round picks in the last 3 years. And when the Vikings win, we look forward to the weekly stud stable. Randy in Cottage Grove, how did that game land with you yesterday?
It was great. Just a tough, like a hard-fought, hard-nosed win is what that is. That's what they needed to do that a couple of times earlier in the season. And you're looking at a pretty good team right now. You're looking at a 4-1, 3-2 kind of a squad, but we're climbing back, and that was a good, hard-fought team win, kind of a team win.
How about the blown lead there late, where they almost gave the entire game up in like a 2-minute span? That wasn't great to me, Randy. What do you think of that?
Well, these guys are NFL players. I don't know if you're aware of that. They all the guys on both sides of the line of scrimmage collect paychecks from NFL franchises. So they're quality. They're top tier talent. All these guys, and they care. Okay, so we got punched in the mouth a little bit, but we came back, and Kirk did what he had to do, and it's a quality. That's a signature win, is what that was.
I don't know if I go signature win. I don't know if I feel I just want to make sure that we pride ourselves on being honest and transparent on this show, and I don't know if your comments here are reflective of maybe how you felt yesterday during the game. I don't know, when you tweeted 19 hours ago, you said fire Zinn on Twitter during the game. So at one point you wanted the head coach fired from the Minnesota Vikings. Seems like you've come a long ways since. Okay.
Just the heat of the moment is what that was. It was a little bit of yag, a little. We were all amped up, and for a minute it didn't look good. It was dark for a minute, but Zim's a tough guy, and he turned it around.
You okay?
Turned it around.
Are you okay?
You're breathing heavily now.
There.
Are you having a heart attack right now?
I had a lot of respect for what Dan Campbell did, to be honest.
Was he choked
I'm sorry, what?
I have a lot of respect for Dan Campbell. And what he did.
Randy, what's wrong?
Put his team in a position to had the stones to go for 2. I really had a lot of respect for that. He's a tough customer.
Are you getting emotional right now?
I kind of wanted us to lose. I don't know how to say it.
Whoa.
I don't think you've ever said that before. I feel like you've been coming on our show. I feel like this is kind of you wanted the Vikings to lose at one point during yesterday's game.
When I saw Dan, when all of us there, we started cussing at the TV and saying he's going to go for 2. He's a bozo, and he did it. He pulled it off, and that's the kind of faith he has in his players. And Zim, Justin Jefferson was tearing him up in the first half, but he had 100 yards plus, and then you go away from it completely. What kind of faith does that show in your squad? And then Campbell, he puts the whole thing on the chopping block and says, "Go ahead and cut him off if you want." And they don't. They got the 2, and they should have won the game.
Randy,
okay.
if you had the option today to swap Mike Zimmer for Dan Campbell, who would you want coaching the Minnesota Vikings?
I can't answer that. Maybe Campbell. I don't know. he believes in his squad. He's got faith in his team. It's a stud stable, but it's not a.
Campbell doesn't
it's not
just
a
like
happy one,
football.
I'll tell you that.
Dan Campbell loves football.
It's not a happy stable. Stubbs, not a happy stable.
So it's not a good win. Like we've now come to the point where you're going to acknowledge that was not a hard-fought good win, Randy.
Do the music so I can do the stable.
Oh, sure.
Are you sure? We don't
make it
don't have to
we
do
don't
this,
have
man.
to, man.
And
We
it's
can.
okay.
I would like to hear
do
it.
what you got to do. It's technically is a win. You got to do the stable.
Yeah.
Play the stupid.
All right, this is Randy and Cottage Grove's Week 5 stud stable, an emotional version of the stud stable here, apparently.
This is week 5 against the Lions. Probably should have been a dud stable this time. The other 2 should have been studs. And nothing makes sense anymore. But here's some studs. I don't know. Justin Jefferson. I guess he's a stud.
It's pretty good. He's a pretty good player.
Kirk Cousins, sure, whatever. He's a stud. Anthony Barr finally pulled your pants up and played football. Good job. You're a stud, I guess. I don't know. Pick another guy here. Tyler Conklin, sure. Good job. You're a stud. Eric Kendricks, you're a stud, I guess.
This is tough.
Mike Zimmer, you're bozo, but I guess you won, so technically you're a stud. Dan Campbell, I love you.
Randy?
He's gone.
It's over. Didn't even get to Greg
I
Joseph.
didn't realize Dan Campbell could get grown men up in their feels like that.
Well, he was trying to put on a brave face to start with.
I said I respected and loved the decision.
Yeah, you weren't crying.
Dude,
wasn't choked up
if
over
I
it.
was a player in that locker room, I would be ready to go to war for Dan Campbell after he called for that 2-point conversion.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
I'd be
with
like,
Randy
pull
on
yourself
that.
together,
front.
Coach. Pull yourself together.
I mean, I'm ready. You just show me the brick wall that I need to run through after Dan Campbell
Yeah.
got up there and cried. He cried
Yeah.
for his team. When has Mike Zimmer ever cried for his team at a
I
podium?
don't want Zimmer crying.
When Teddy's leg exploded.
All right,
No,
that's
he-
true.
He just canceled practice that day.
He got a little choked up.
Well, yeah, he got choked up because he saw a man's leg
literally
snap in
compared it
two
to his
like a toothpick.
wife dying.
Well,
Like
the man's leg snapped in two. I'm not saying that I wouldn't cry about a horrific injury or a death. I'm saying I wouldn't cry about a football game that I lost if I was Detroit Lions coach.
Okay, so
But
you're
Randy's very upset.
Judd. I have a 2-part question.
Yeah.
Part 1 is: are you out on Mike Zimmer at this point? Like, are you pretty much out?
You know,
I'm pretty much out on Mike Zimmer.
I think the fairest way to put it is I really think that it's run its course.
Yep.
I think
Doesn't
that the
mean he
league
was
has
an epic
changed.
failure.
No,
Doesn't
he
mean,
might.
Yep.
And you know what? He could still be a very successful coordinator, but I just think as far as head coaching goes, I think it's run its course here. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Almost every head coach, not named Belichick probably, has a shelf life. We've talked about this, going back to the first day that we started the show together, Phil. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it doesn't mean he's bad. It doesn't mean he's terrible. But when I hear his philosophies now, and it gets harder and harder as well, I think, at times, because people tune you out, things change. So I'm not saying fire him today. I might have been if they lost to Detroit, but it's run its course. I think that's a very fair way to put it.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't need to mean that he's an epic failure. He's going to wind up with one of the better records in Vikings head coaching history, percentage-wise. Bud Grant is still number 1, 2, 3. Denny Green, it's kind of Denny Green, right? He went to an NFC Championship game. Actually, Denny went to 2 of them. Denny had the best offense one year. Zimmer had the best defense one year. Pretty similar. Always competitive, good. Always 500. So we all agree that we're kind of out on Mike Zimmer. So here's part 2 to my question. You only get one other option. You can keep Mike Zimmer for 3 more years, or you get Dan Campbell for 3 years.
Oh, yeah, I'm keeping Mike. I'm not getting Dan Campbell. I'm not touching him. As a head coach, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot ball.
As currently
No way.
constructed.
You'd have a much better roster than the Lions have. The Lions don't have nearly the high-end talent that the Vikings have.
That highs and lows act of constantly the emotional tightrope that Dan Campbell walks is a college act. It's not going to work in the pros long.
But don't you think with a better roster that he could get a year and a half jolt? Could he get a year and a half jolt out of a better roster than Mike Zimmer is getting right now?
No.
Because I think Mike Zimmer is actively dragging down
and I think Dan Campbell would too. So I would stay status quo.
Just want to throw it out there.
I mean, if you're giving me the choice of a guy who wants to bite kneecaps off, I mean, his whole act is a college act. Like, that is a Division I college coach.
Yeah, I don't even know how well it would. Like, I think you'd alienate some college players.
Oh, sure you would, but I just think it's got a better chance to work in college. Pros are grown men who get paid a ton. Eventually, like, the crying thing is a card to play, but he played it after a Week 5 loss to go to.
He didn't. He didn't play a card, Judd. He was genuinely emotional.
Right, but
he didn't get up there and say he didn't like see it as a cut an onion in half. And
but you got to see it as playing a card, because the next time he does it, the players are going to roll their eyes and be like, "Here we go again. Coach is crying. Coach cry." Coach Hanky. We got Coach Hanky. You have to see everything in coaching and sports is some type of manipulation in some way to get the most from your players. And crying is something that you should control until it's going to be its most effective. And going to 0-5 is not the time to cry. The next time he cries, people are going to be like, here he goes again, Coach Cry.
Declan,
there's nothing wrong with crying.
3 years, Dan Campbell or Mike Zimmer with this team?
With this team as it's currently constructed, Zimmer. If it was a different situation, if this roster was overhauled, then I would go with Dan Campbell. If you moved on from Kirk Cousins this year and, like, for whatever reason Justin Jefferson revolts, okay, let's roll the dice with Dan Campbell because we're going to be bad for a while. But as currently constructed, I can.
Yeah, I don't generally want Dan Campbell as my head coach, but I don't think it's fair to gauge with the Jaguars roster, the Lions roster. They're going to lose a lot of games. So, but I just thought it was very, very genuine. You say manipulative. I say genuine.
Well, you've got to consider when you do it, though. And you know what? If you cry behind closed doors, but when you bring it into a press conference, that's playing a card.
Okay.
If you show it to your team, that's different. And that also has to be used carefully, judiciously. But when you bring it to the podium, that's playing a card.
What should he have done? Just walked off the podium?
Should have said, I'm proud.
The tears are welling up?
No, he shouldn't
Swallow
have cried.
those
He should have said,
tears like a man.
I'm proud of my team. I mean, it's fine to get choked up a bit, but he was full on crying. I'm proud of my team. We are getting better every week. We didn't play a great game, but we did enough to win on the road, and we didn't win, and we're going to clean those things up. But the Detroit Lions will never quit.
So you're saying he also cried too hard?
I'm saying it's one thing to be, yes, he's full on crying. I don't want that.
So if there was just one, like, maybe little tear, or maybe like a
little... No, your voice can crack like once or twice.
Voice
is cracking once or twice is fine. I'm saying he just went to Super Bowl cry card. We lost the Super Bowl. That's what he went to. That was his Week 5 reaction.
Honestly, a division game for the Lions, a road game for the Lions, is as close to the Super Bowl as they're usually going to get.
But if he cries again at the podium, everybody's done. Like, it's not going to work again. Players aren't going to be like, next time I'll run through the wall again, and next time I'll run through the wall again. No.
I don't know. Maybe Mike Zimmer. Maybe when Mike Zimmer's most important player is trying to show him, "Hey, I'm bonding with you. I'm excited about this victory." Maybe Mike Zimmer can ratchet up the emotion once in a while.
Well, that's a whole other thing. Those two need therapy, Phil. Those two need quarterback coach therapy
together. Yeah. All right. Let's get to some bonus statements here. Declan, why don't you lead us off here with a bonus statement?
Yeah, I'll stick with the Vikings. My bonus statement is: get to 500 and let's reassess. Let's get to 500 and let's reassess things. All right, I'll go a little positive.
You're back on the
here.
bandwagon right now.
The Panthers are coming down to earth hard right now. And I don't buy that Carolina is back after they're a new team after that hot 3-0 start. They don't look like that team anymore. And if the Vikings can get to 3-3, you go into the bye week. And by the way, after that bye week, it is going to be tough. That's probably the toughest stretch of this season. There's still tough games remaining after those first 5 out of the bye week, but this is probably going to be the toughest stretch. So if you can get to 3-3, then you get the Cowboys at home, tough road game in Baltimore, tough road game in with the Chargers.
Wheels are off.
Home game against the Packers, and then road game against the Niners. I mean, this is going to be a tough stretch, but let's get to 500. Let's hopefully win, 4 of those games, 3-4 of those games, and you get in December, and maybe we're sitting pretty. Maybe everything's going to be okay. Get to 500, and let's reassess things. That is my opening bonus statement.
Another thing after the bye week that's really interesting about the schedule is there's a lot of guys, basically your first 3 or 4 games right out of the bye, you're going to find out just how good Kirk Cousins is. These MVP numbers he's been putting up, but the team hasn't been winning as many games, right? He's going to go toe-to-toe with Dak Prescott, with Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, who's just been absurd so far this year.
Did you see that yesterday?
Dude, he is... His
How much
arm,
fun was that?
His mobility. He's already one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks in the entire league. Like, everyone talks about Mahomes, but
you're right. No.
He's Pat Mahomes. He's right there.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers, so you get just a murderer's Herbert, Rodgers, all in the top 6-ish, right? I mean, Brady's in there, Mahomes, Kyler, so it's probably like of the top 8 quarterbacks, you got 4 of them in succession right out of the bye.
And now your secondary gets a huge test as well.
Well, starting with Dallas or Carolina, are you saying?
No, post-bye with Dallas. Yeah. Like now you got QBs who know who to pick on and have the authority to do it successfully. Like Jared Goff, you're like, yeah, it's Jared Goff. But, and plus, I think his top 2 receivers got hurt, and they basically didn't have guys to throw to by the end of that game. Yep. But yeah, starting with Dallas, Zim's defense is going to be in the crosshairs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This was, bonus statement here, this was one of the great sports weekends of the entire calendar year so far. You had college football upsets and down-to-the-wire games. The number 1 team in the country goes down.
Great day.
You had a great throwback heavyweight fight, the trilogy, fight number 3 between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, where both guys got knocked down at various points in the fight, 11 rounds, just haymakers in the last
Wilder,
2 or 3 rounds.
Geez, did he get knocked down? Woo, the end of that fight was not pretty. It was
yeah, well, they were both exhausted, and they're just like barely able to get their arms up. And then for Major League Baseball playoffs, for wrestling nerds, you had an independent promotion called GCW that put a death match on between Jon Moxley and Nick Gage, where these guys are just bloody messes.
Dude.
And then you had the Wolves with a great comeback win over the Nuggets as well on Friday night.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Great
dip into that
sports
one.
weekend.
The Wild got spanked too in their preseason finale, but that's okay.
And had
But
a
playoff baseball,
injury.
college football, and pro football, and the boxing match were all outstanding.
Yeah, this was
that was such a fun 2 or 3 days. So much fun.
It's too bad the Twins can't be participants.
Hey, I got one more statement.
Hold on, real quick. On the Twins note, so I saw, was it Declan or someone sent this out on Twitter. All 8 teams in the division series round have now won a playoff game this year. So everyone has won a game in all of the series so far. Mm-hmm. So all of those 8 teams have done something the Twins haven't been able to do in 18 attempts. 0-18.
That's not allowed. That's a violation of the MLB Code of Conduct.
God, it's amazing.
All right, here's my final statement going back to the Vikings. Bashad Breeland needs to go. All right? When you are so tone deaf and you are last in PFF's cornerback rankings, I believe he entered Sunday.
He popped up. He popped up to the 3rd to last after this week's performance.
He is now 3rd to last.
Wow.
I'll get
But
the
he
exact
was
number.
last going into Sunday, 103 out of 103. And then you have a
He's top 100 now, it sounds like.
Saying there's a chance.
halfway decent game, but you're not that good, okay? You have a and you, by the way, in the 4th quarter, get completely trucked. He got trucked at one point. He fell backwards. It was embarrassing. And then you take to Twitter to put out a vulgar tweet which insults the fan base and essentially says, shut up, don't boo us, and enjoy the win. You're the guy doing that, Bashad Breeland, and I don't know exactly who told him to delete his tweet quickly, if it was his family, his friends, or the team, perhaps an assistant coach or something. but he needs to go. Like when you are this unaware of what's going on, you're not smart enough to play in this defense. So Bashad Breeland, Cam Dantzler should be back from the COVID list this week. He should start next week. Find another backup. Bashad Breeland, bye-bye. You don't belong on this team.
After being ranked number 103 out of 103 is now 109 out of 112 out of qualified quarterbacks.
So he's still
109 out of 112.
So more guys came in and qualified for snap counts, and he he moved down, really. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional now.
Yeah, easy.
Stop crying.
Don't play that card yet.
But get rid of him.
Dan Campbell.
Just release him.
Judd, give us one more bonus statement on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, so this started last night with a Michelle Tafoya halftime rain delay report, or I should say lightning delay, in Kansas City. And they were giving the Bills players peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but the players didn't like them because they had too much peanut butter, I believe. Anyway, long story short, this took to Twitter like wildfire, and so I tweeted, hot take, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are the most overrated sandwich ever made.
Really? Wow,
And
dude.
I got torched on Twitter. I got ratioed hard. I probably had 2 or 3 people say, like, stick to your guns, you're right. And other than that, it was a ratio of ratios. I got a note that said, for a man who has a lot of terrible takes, this is your worst take.
Wow,
I don't like them.
That's an honor.
I said that. I said, thank you very much. I tweeted back, thank you. That's a really nice thing to say.
Pretty if that's the case.
But
so
anyway,
what did we find out from Tafoya? What was the ratio? So it was
She
clearly
did say
like
it, but I don't
75 or
remember.
80% peanut
I
butter
think it was
or something?
75% peanut butter, but I'm not positive of that. But anyway,
that's too much peanut butter.
I don't touch those things. I don't like them. They get soggy. I got like all of these. Well, have you toasted it? And have you done this? And have you done that? Peanut butter and jelly should just be a simple sandwich. If it was good, it's not good. It's garbage.
I feel like I really only ate it in college or if I was hard on cash.
Grade school.
Or grade school.
Ugh.
I probably have eaten less than 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the last 3 or 4
Phil's
years.
gonna come
Okay, pro tip here, okay? So Herbert and Gerbert subs, which you can find. Like there's a couple in and around, Dickeytown, right?
I go all the time.
There's one in Roseville, I want to say.
They want to
So, and they are not paying me to say this, but they have a peanut butter and jelly sub, and they cut the you cut the bread off the top. It is so good. And here's another pro tip. All right.
Sorry.
So get 2 subs. So let's say you're hungry for a sub from Urban Gerbert's. Get whatever one you're gonna get. Like get the turkey sub or something, and some soup for your lunch, and get a bonus peanut butter and jelly. Put it in the refrigerator, cool it off, and then eat it for a late night snack. Cold, so good. You're welcome.
I do love me an Uncrustable, though. You guys know what Uncrustables are?
Yeah. My mom did those
I
occasionally.
don't know if I know
for
what
me.
those are.
It's a brand, and again, if free advertising for Uncrustables, it's just a circular peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like in a bread, like and it looks like it honestly looks like an enclosed burger. Like it's delicious.
And what
really, really
they
good.
like just take the crust off the? It's just
Yeah, if you Google, it looks like a big hockey puck of, but white bread of peanut butter and jelly. It's delicious. So it was a great snack.
I would say
cool.
almond butter and jelly is more favorable.
Almond butter.
Almond butter is
Wow,
now you're talking upper
It's a little higher.
echelon.
It's a little higher
Right,
end. I know.
right.
It's a little
I
more
stop at Whole
expensive.
Foods every once in a while, but that's a whole other play.
Almond butter and jam, really.
My rule of
Apricot
thumb
jam.
is very simple. If it got packed in my lunch for grade school, I'm out. So like a
What?
bologna sandwich is crap. Peanut butter and jelly.
Bologna is the weakest meat of.
No, I know, but
of
I'm just
sandwiches.
saying
We should
I
rank
have
the
a
tiers of that,
bias.
by the
I have
way.
a very big bias against anything that was in my lunch bag.
You're out on string cheese.
String cheese is fine because it's complimentary.
Like a little
I'm saying the main course of a grade school lunch.
So you're out on bologna.
Oh, bologna's crap. I hate bologna.
We
now.
should rank the sandwich meats. We should do that sometime in a slower week.
And I
when
love
Mackey
the
is there.
sandwich meats.
Yeah.
I'm not out on those.
I love this conversation.
I have very specific things that I'm out on, and bologna and peanut butter and jelly, see ya.
All right. Those are your statements and your bonus statements. And Randy in Cottage Grove, who
Hope he's okay. I thought he was having a heart
Dan
attack at
Campbell
first, though.
guy.
So
yeah, I wasn't
I'm
sure.
glad
Maybe,
he's okay.
Maybe he was, and he played it off like he was emotional over Dan Campbell. I don't know.
Hope not.
Vikings Vent Line yesterday, that was a therapeutic session for people. You can check that out on the Purple Daily podcast feed, also on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And you can also hit us up on the Score North YouTube channel. Maybe some of you are watching us there right now. We appreciate all you guys. I think we're almost at 26,000 combined subscribers. So thank you guys for helping us. We've set new records month after month here. The first training camp into
the best
October here. We're off to a pretty good start too. So thank you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow on Mackey and Judd.